For this lesson, we're going to be talking about multiplying matrices. And to multiply matrices, we're going to look at the rows and the columns of the matrix. So we might have a 2-row, 3-column matrix, or a 2x3 matrix, multiplied by a 3-row, 3-column matrix. The number of columns in the first matrix must equal the number of rows in the second matrix in order for us to be able to multiply. So as you see here, the numbers in the middle, the 3 and the 3, match. This means that we can multiply this matrix. And our matrix is going to result in the last two. So a 2x3 matrix. So what are the dimensions of this matrix? Well, the first one is a 2-row and 1-column matrix by a 1-row and 4-column matrix. Since the inside two match, then we are allowed to multiply, and we will get a resulting 2x4 matrix. So how does this work? Well, this is our general rule for us, is we're going to multiply the row by the column. So everything in row 1 by everything in column 1. And we're going to add those together. So A1 times C1 plus B1 times C2. And then for our second spot, all right, in the first row, we're going to take A1 times D1 plus B1 times D2. For the bottom, the second row in the first column, we're going to take A2 by C1 plus B2 by C2. And for our last part in the matrix, we are going to take A2 times D1 plus B2 times D2. Okay, so let's see how this would work in an example here. All right, so again, we're going to look at row by column. So here's our first row, here's our first column. That's going to give us the first set of numbers. So in order to do this, we're going to take -2 times 6 plus 1 times -7. All right, that's going to give us the first part of our 2x2 matrix. So since this is a 2x2 times a 2x2, the inside two match, and so we are going to have a resulting 2x2 matrix. So let's do this work. So we have this is -12 plus a -7, and that's a -19 for row 1, column 1. All right, let's look at the next piece here. So let's look at the first row by the second column, and that's going to be this piece here. All right, so those pieces, that is a -2 times 5 plus a 1 times 1. And that's going to give us a -10 plus 1, which is going to provide for row 1, column 2. -10 plus 1 is a -9. Let's move on to row 2. So row 2 times the first column. So we have over here in this part, we're going to have a 0 times 6 plus a 5 times -7. 0 times 6 is 0. 5 times -7 is -35, which will result for this part of the 2x2 matrix will be a -35. And lastly, we have to take row 2 by column 2. All right, and this will give us this part. So we have 0 times 5 plus 5 times 1. So 0 plus 5 is going to leave us with 5. So our resulting matrix is negative 19, negative 9, negative 35, and 5. Okay, let's look at example 3 here. So again, we have a 2 by 2 multiplied by a 2 by 2. The inside to match. We're going to get a resulting 2 by 2 matrix when we work this out. So let's look at the first row by the first column and see what this will give us. So this will give us 0 times negative 1. I'm sorry. First column. First row by the first column. Okay. So this is going to be 0 times negative 1 plus a 2 times negative 4. All right, and that is going to give us, what is that? 0 plus negative 8. So this will be a negative 8. Okay, let's look at our next piece. So we're going to go row 1 by column 2. And what will that give us here? We have 0 times 3 plus 2 times 1. Well, that's a 0 plus 2, and so we'll have a 2 in the second column, first row. Okay, let's look at, we have row 2, column 1 here. So we've got a 3 times negative 1 plus 4 times negative 4. So that's a negative 3 plus a negative 16 is a negative 19. And lastly, we're going to take row 2 by column 2, and this is going to give us the last piece. So 3 times 3 plus a 4 times 1. So 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 1 is 4. That is 13. Okay, so row by column, we have to be very careful in this process because it's very easy to make a mistake if we're trying to go too quickly. All right, let's look at example 4 here. So here we have a 2 row by 3 column matrix multiplied by a 3 row by 2 column matrix. And because the insides match, we're going to be left with a 2 by 2 matrix in our answer. Okay. So again, let's stick to what we know. We have row 1 multiplied by column 1. And that's going to give us the first piece here. So we have 1 times 10 plus 2 times 20 plus 3 times 30. Well, that's 10 plus 40 plus 90. So that's what, 140? So the first part of our 2 by 2 matrix is 140. Okay? And let's move that down just to give us more room as we're working this out. Okay? Let's look at row 1 times column 2. And that's going to give us this part of the matrix. So we have 1 times 11 plus 2 times 21 plus 3 times 31. So that's 11 plus 42 plus 93. And when we type that in our calculator, let's see, 11 plus 42 plus 93 is going to give us 146. So we have the first row of our resulting matrix in the 2 by 2. Now we need to work on the second row. So we're going to look here, row times column. And that's going to give us the next piece. All right, so row 2, column 1 in the multiplied matrix. So we have 4 times 10 plus 5 times 20 plus 6 times 30. So you have 40 plus 100 plus 180. So what is that? That's going to be 280. 280 plus 40 is 320. All right. Lastly, we have the second column times the second row. So that's going to give us this piece in the matrix. And that'll be from 4 times 11 plus 5 times 21 plus 6 times 31. And that is 44. Plus, let's see, 5 times 21 is 105. And 6 times 31 is 186. So 186 plus 105 is 291 plus 44 is 335. So this would be our resulting 2 by 2 matrix, like we said that we would have a 2 by 2 matrix. These come from those pieces. Piece here. We have our first piece and our row 2, column 1 piece. So these are our general rules for multiplying matrix or matrices. All right, we always multiply the row